Hello and welcome to class. Today we're going to be learning about pens. The class today is Introduction to the Pen. I am the Honorable Lordy in the Green and I am very happy to have you here with us. So what do I mean when I say pen? Well, we're going to talk about modern calligraphy pens. They come in two parts, a pen holder and a nib, or the pen. As you can see, there's a lot of different kind of pen holders to look at. You'll find the one that works for you. And that's the nice thing about having so many of them, is that you can find that one works for you. We have a lot of different nibs that we can choose from. Typically for newcomers, they usually go to a store, they find speedball nibs. But as you can see from the image, there's speedball, there's Browsy, there's Gillette, we can do Mitchell nibs, and tape nibs. Tape nibs actually are back in being produced, so we can still get those now. Find what works for you. It takes a little while sometimes. It's okay to go ahead and just get a beginner's kit and see if that works for you. It probably will. Every field of study, of interest, of art has its own language and way of talking about things, and it's important to learn that language. So we're going to learn about the different parts of the pen. The anatomy of the pen is actually not particularly complicated, but it's important to learn the names of them. So as you can see from the picture, we have a tail, base, or heel. That's the first part that gets inserted into the pen holder. Following that is the shaft, the shank, sometimes called the body. The part that sticks out, we have the vent or breather hole. I typically just call it the vent. Below that, we have the shoulders, and this is where the pen starts to come to a point. It's no longer broad and wide. Then we have the slit or capillary. This is actually where the ink travels down the pen to under the tip, and the tip of course is at the very bottom. How does the pen holder hold the nib? As you can see from the picture, looking at the bottom of your pen holder, there's a place to insert the shaft of your pen into the pen holder. On the left here we see a typical spring. On the right we see a speedball pen holder. It is important to understand that when you put the shaft in, it doesn't go in between the little pieces that are there that kind of form an X or a plus. It actually goes on the outside of them. It's also important to know that this piece can actually come out of the pen holder. Here's the insert that is part of the pen holder that holds the pen. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger. When you put it in, it'll squeeze a little bit. That's just how they're designed. Here's a speedball pen holder. As you can see, it doesn't use a spring. It has a cutout circle where the shaft goes into it. That circle does go all the way around. It is going to hold your pen just fine. So here's a pen that has been put into the insert. You notice it's around the edge. It is not in the middle, it's around the edge. What does this look like when we put it all together? Taking a look at it, it looks like it's just one pen. And that's because, in essence, it is right now. It does come apart, obviously, but it's one pen. It's very stable, it's easy to work with, very easy to write with. When we turn this upside down or sideways and we look at the pen, we see that the shaft of the nib is along that outer edge of the spring, and those springs are pushing outward to hold it against the spring and the wall. This is very stable. It works beautifully. We do the same thing with the speedball holder, and we pretty much get the same result. We just don't have a spring there to look at. So as you can see, the speedball pen holder, with the nib inserted into it, looks pretty much the same as the other pen holder with the spring in it did. And that's because it works pretty much the same way. So that's enough with the still pictures and diagrams and showing you things step by step using pictures. Let's go ahead and get some video showing you how things really do work in person. Hello, welcome to the video portion of an introduction to calligraphy pen. What we have here is a modern calligraphy pen holder with a modern calligraphy nib. As you can tell, it does have an attached reservoir. That attached reservoir goes on top. This is a Browsy nib. You just reach over and you pull it out pretty easily. See the springs inside, kind of. And then we just make sure that the curved portion of the shaft goes on the outside of the springs, between the wall, and we insert it. And then we'll be able to write with it. So that is the Browsy nibs. Same pen holder, but this is a Mitchell nib or a William Mitchell nib. You'll notice it doesn't have a reservoir on it. They are attached underneath when they do attach. It is another detachable nib. Works exactly the same way. No surprises, nothing difficult about it. It's just a matter of getting used to the process. This is a different pen holder, but it is still a modern pen holder. It is a double-ended pen holder. So you can actually put one pen in one end and another pen in the other end. And this is so that you can write if you want to, and then if you need to switch your colors, you can switch it around and do another one. Of course, those aren't the only kind of pens that exist. Here you are, quill pens, the ones everybody likes to talk about. They work just wonderfully. These are heat-cured ones. Age-cured tend to be a little bit more clear, but you still need to have them cured. You'll notice I hold these a little bit differently. I pinch it between my thumb and my middle finger, and then this kind of guides it a little bit. It might even help rotate it depending on the pen stroke. But don't worry about that if you're just a beginner. Just pinch it between your thumb and your middle finger. The neat thing about these is, and I don't know if it'll show off, is they're oval. They are not round. You can see that that side is wider than the top. There were metal pens in period. These are reproduction copper alloy ones. These are specifically brass, and they work beautifully. These were made by the late Master Athelstan. So these are also pens that we can use, although these ones are very difficult to get a hold of.